What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Threesome Show with Bridget and Don. How you feeling today, Bridge?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Hopefully you got some rest today. You're off. They're one of your very few off days, so hopefully you got some rest today.
Negative.
Negative. I didn't either, and I was tired as hell today, so I could dig it.
I feel
So
you.
tonight we're gonna talk about religious beliefs and
Mhm.
can two people of two different religious beliefs have a successful relationship?
Mhm.
What's up, Ray? You all on time today. Thanks for joining. So, religious beliefs. I feel like, and this might be just my opinion, if two people have two different religious beliefs, it can work. However, they're going to constantly be going in two different directions.
Hi, Marvin.
Um,
Yeah.
so, if they're constantly going in two different directions, eventually it's going to tear the relationship apart. I don't think it's going to last very long. But what do you think?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
I'm gonna say no. I mean, I'm not saying absolutely it couldn't work. I don't think it would be something that I would be willing to do for myself. Only because, if in certain religions they have, different beliefs, different punishments, um, they don't believe in certain, celebrating certain, holidays and things like that. Um,
Yeah.
so I feel like, just like you said, like even if two people y'all in a relationship and then y'all eventually have a child, and that's like something that y'all don't really touch on, is that y'all both have two different religious backgrounds. And then say, one of y'all are Christian and y'all celebrate like Resurrection Sunday versus the other one might be a Muslim or something, they might be like, my son's not practicing that, and I feel like that's where the issues can come. Um, Also, just like, in other religions, like they feel like they can have multiple wives, they feel like they can beat on women. You know what I'm saying? So, me personally, I feel like I couldn't date someone that had a different religious background than me, or even know. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna say like a specific religious background, but a person definitely have to be believe in God. I could say that. Like I couldn't deal with like someone who doesn't believe there is no creator at all.
Hmm.
Because I just
Now,
feel like,
Marvin said something that was interesting. It depends on how deep they are in their beliefs, and that's
mm,
that's that's actually paramount.
yeah,
Um, because if you don't really if you're not really following your belief, then it really don't matter because you're not really
right,
following it. But if you're really dedicated, like you're a devout Muslim and a devout Christian, there's probably might be some problems, and there's definitely gonna be some problems, especially when it comes to raising kids. Because
right,
who do you follow? Yeah, but imagine if your partner is a great person um, on the individual level, but y'all don't share the same religious beliefs. So I look at religious beliefs, even though when I was Muslim, I dated Christian women. Um, but I would always find that their family would always try to get me to go to church. And I was
mm-hmm,
like, I don't go to church. Like, I'm Muslim. I go to the mosque. And I don't
mm-hmm,
try to get your daughter to go to the mosque. Why y'all keep trying to get me to go to church?
mm-hmm,
But um, to me, and I might get some blowback from this, but having different religious beliefs to me is the same as two different races dating each other.
mm-hmm,
Eventually, somebody's got to lose themselves in order for the relationship to be successful.
right,
Somebody has to give up their beliefs, and that's why Muslims or Muslim women cannot date a non-Muslim man,
yeah,
but a Muslim man can date a non-Muslim woman because the woman is supposed to eventually follow their husband. You're supposed to
Right.
follow his lead.
Right. And
So
that's how I feel like with someone who don't believe in God at all, because I look at it like if you're not, following behind God, then like who are you following? Like, I don't know. Um, but yeah, Tobias said conflict with raising your children, holidays, church, and of course pork. He's funny as shit.
but he's right. Like,
Yeah, but that's
um,
what I'm saying. Like me, I don't eat pork. Well, I mean, it is religious for me, honestly, too. Because even though, so like, I would consider myself like a Christian, right? But even in Christianity, we're not supposed to eat pork neither.
right.
Which some of them do. I feel like Muslims they practice that. They're more strict on that than Christians are. Um, but yeah, so I'm not gonna say it's not religious. It is religious reasons why I don't eat pork, but I'm also a vegan, so I'm not gonna eat pork anyway. Um, but yeah, I'm
And
very
Mikkel said,
strict. I'm very strict about it too. Like even when it comes to like toothpaste and gum and candy and stuff, like if it has gelatin in there, it's like no.
yeah,
Where some people might be like, that's OD.
yeah. When I was practicing Muslim, I watched all of that. If it had gelatin in it, like a lot of people don't realize, gelatin is pork. It
Right,
comes from the pig intestine.
right,
Um, so when I was a practicing Muslim, I didn't do any of that, and I
yeah,
didn't allow it in my house. So
mm-hmm.
I didn't allow bacon to get cooked in the house. Which when I was my son's mom, she's Christian, so back then it was just like you need to. Look, I'm not trying to get you to convert, but I don't want that in the house. When you go over your mother's house, if you want to eat pork over there, that's fine, but don't cook it in the house. I don't want to smell it.
Mm-hmm. But what was I gonna say? Do you feel so you don't practice it anymore?
No, so I did convert to Christianity.
Oh, you
Um,
did. So my thing is, okay, because you don't practice it anymore, do you still feel like you hold on to some of their values?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing with me is, first of all, once you become Muslim, you can never not be Muslim. That's why I say
Hmm.
not practicing Muslim. You're
Okay.
still Muslim,
Yeah.
um, because once you take Shahada and you accept Allah into your heart, like you're Muslim forever, no matter what you decide later
Hmm.
on in life. Um, I don't eat pork because I haven't eaten pork in so long I would get sick at this point. I haven't eaten pork since '94. What the hell is that? 30 years ago? 30 damn years. Damn. Um, so now I'm not as strict on the gelatin and my food and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But as far as like eating an actual piece of pork, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And I actually
So
broke up with a girl one time because of that shit. She was playing around, and I was sitting, and she put a sandwich around in front of me, and it had bacon on it. That was the last time we had a conversation. That was it for me.
so does your wife eat pork?
Yes, well, no. As far as she's concerned, no, she don't eat pork. However, she eats bacon. She don't eat nothing with the word pork in it. So like pork chops, she don't eat that. But she'll eat her bacon. She don't eat ham, but she'll eat the bacon. Um, and I'm not. That's cool because for me, it's not a religious thing anymore. It's more for health purposes. Like it would
Right.
really make me sick. Like I would get violently sick if I ate pork. Um, and the reason, so a little background on the reason why Christians feel like it's okay to eat pork now, as opposed to like the Muslims. Muslims, Jews, still follow the Old Testament, and in
Right.
the Old Testament, you shouldn't eat pork. Christians have a New Testament where they said, Jesus came through, he blessed that pork, and it's all good. We can eat
Right.
it now. Um, but that doesn't make it good for you. It
Right.
actually is not. It's the worst animal to eat.
Yeah.
And it's the worst animal for because it was basically designed to clean the earth.
Mhm.
That's why pork is so poisonous. It gives you high blood pressure. Like all of the things that a lot of the things you experience health wise can be attributed to pork and bad eating. Well, now beef, because hell, beef is fucking us up just as much now. But
Mhm.
um,
Yeah, I think pigs are just disgusting. They'll literally eat a dead body, so I just feel like why would you consume that?
beef bacon is the same. Beef bacon is good. Beef bacon it tastes just like you're eating bacon. It's just beef. Um,
So if you were, say you weren't married and you met someone, okay, say you met, a Muslim woman and she said, I need you to be this for life. Would you be willing to change your, because you said you converted to Christianity, so it's just like you would be willing to change your religious views based on your partner?
I don't think I don't think I would at this point. And the only reason being is when I was when I was a practicing Muslim, I wasn't successful at it. Like I was horrible. The only thing I didn't do was eat pork. Like other than that, I didn't pray 5 times. I didn't do none of the things that was required of a Muslim. So for
Mm-hmm.
me to go back to it, it's like I failed the first time around. Why try it again?
Yeah.
So I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't push up on a Muslim woman. First of all, dating a Muslim woman has so many rules, so many damn rules. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're not supposed to go on dates by yourself. You're supposed to have a chaperone.
Sorry.
What the hell?
What the hell? I'm scared. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So it's just so many rules. Um, but I don't know if I would date outside my religion at this point. I think we have to have at least the same belief system.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, like a lot of the things that you mentioned, like if one person's going out to church and the other person is like, yeah, I don't mess around with that church business,
Yeah.
and they're constantly downing it, that's just it's gonna cause some kind of flack. Um,
It was like a stink bug that stopped on me. I don't know what the fuck it was. Um, but Ray, to answer your question, I don't eat crabs because I'm a vegan. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't consider pigs one of the cleanest animals on a farm. They eat trash and all types of stuff. So I mean, I just
yeah,
can't imagine what type of diseases they hold within them. But I mean, that's your opinion.
but but for all intentional purposes, crab, shrimp,
Yeah, those are bottom feeders.
oysters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I,
you're
I
not
don't eat
supposed to
none of
eat
that
those
though. But
either.
I know even in the Bible it tells you that. It tells you what animals you can and cannot eat, what type of fish you can and
Hmm.
cannot eat, what type of birds you can and cannot eat. Um, I don't know, but I'm a vegan, so I mean I guess I don't count.
Just
But
winning,
no,
right?
I
You
don't
just
eat none
winning
of
all the
that.
way around.
Yeah.
um, yeah, like Nikel said, so there's so many other animals. There are a lot of animals that are cleaning animals, and they're not meant to be ingested by humans.
Yeah.
We don't pay attention to that. We act like those words never existed. Um, so
You're
you're a
vegan,
vegan,
but
but for
for
people
people
who
who don't eat pork and crabs, get out of
and
here.
eat crabs, yeah, people who don't eat pork but they eat crabs,
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, to be honest, like the reason why I am a vegan is not because I care about animals, is because I don't want any of their diseases in their body. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I'm not saying because you could get all types of foodborne illnesses from vegetables and fruit and stuff like that, but sometimes these animals and stuff, they can't have diseases. They're in bad environments. People are literally
And
like farmers literally breed animals just to butcher them and feed them to people, so they don't really care. They want them plump and fat, and you know what I'm saying, just more for the money.
And they pump steroids in them now.
Yeah.
Now, um, yeah, it's not like I don't know the dangers of eating meat.
Mm.
I don't know. I'm not ready to give it up.
I'm not
But I
judging
know the dangers.
nobody. I'm not judging nobody. If that's what y'all want to do, that's fine. I'm just saying why I don't eat meat. I really don't care what everybody else chooses to do.
Um, Nicole said you can get them from veggies now. You can, and that's because of the pesticides that they're putting on the vegetables to keep
Right. I said
insects and
that.
stuff away from them. That's where you can get sick from. But there's a way to eat organic to avoid the pesticides. Now your vegetables won't last as long in the refrigerator if without all the other stuff on it, because all that stuff that they put on it helps to keep it fresh, makes
Hmm.
it look better in the grocery store.
Right.
But there's ways to eat. There's ways to be a vegetarian and not expose yourself to all of the different viruses that um, vegetables can carry nowadays.
Yeah.
Um, I wish I had the willpower, honestly, to eat more healthy, like to be vegan, eat more healthy. I just ain't got the willpower.
But just because you're vegan don't mean that you're healthy. Let's just say that.
Mm, mm.
Yeah. Just because you.
Speak on that as a vegan. Help me out and help me understand that.
I mean, let's start off. Oreos are vegan. Are cookies healthy? No, they're not. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, just because things is considered like not meat don't mean that it's healthy. We already talked about this even with the vegan meat alternatives and stuff. Like, it's not made out of meat, but it technically has soy in there, so it
Right.
acts as estrogen and stuff like that. So it's a lot of vegan things out here that aren't healthy. And honestly, if you were to consume some of these vegan things that aren't healthy on a day-to-day basis, you might become more sicker than the average person that's eating meat. So I feel like when it comes to being a vegan, you have to educate yourself. You're easy to become deficient and not get enough nutrients. Um, so yeah, I don't push people to become a vegan. I tell people to eat a well-balanced diet. um, if you can get your meat, your protein from a good source, a farm, that will be good. But other than that, eat a well balanced diet, work out, drink water. That's the only thing I say to people. I don't ever tell people to stop eating meat because it can be worse sometimes.
Help me out with this, because and pardon my ignorance. Nobody judge me on this one, please.
Mm.
Even in people in the comments, help me out with this. The difference between a vegan and a vegetarian is what?
A vegetarian still eats dairy and eggs.
Ah,
A
okay.
vegan doesn't consume like any dairy, nothing from an animal. Some
Nothing that
vegans
came from
don't
the
even
animal.
believe in eating honey, but I do. Cause like vegans push that shit too much because it's like they're like, oh well, the bee worked hard for that honey. Shut the fuck up. Like I don't give a fuck. It's not like the fucking honey came out the bees. You know what I'm saying? Like they they
Right,
they
they
basically.
curated it, but that it didn't
That's
come out
what
of
they
them.
say. They say bees have what they put on the honey. They say some shit like I don't know what the fuck it is, but I do consume honey though. I do, cause that shit doesn't come from a animal. Like a bee is a fucking insect. But yeah, a vegetarian still eats eggs. Which comes from a animal. And dairy and stuff. Yeah, and then a pescatarian is somebody that. Now this is what I feel like people aren't educated on, because you got some people that be like, "Yeah, I'm a vegan, but I eat seafood sometimes." You're not a vegan.
Right.
You can't consider yourself a vegan unless you don't eat any seafood, any meat, any dairy. Like that's the only way you can say you're a vegan. The only way you can say you're a vegetarian is if you eat no meat, no seafood, but you still consume milk and eggs and stuff. Now, if you're a pescatarian, that means that you only eat, the only meat source you eat is seafood. You know what I'm saying? But you could still eat vegan meals if you want to, but you wouldn't be considered a vegan if you're still eating seafood.
Right,
Seafood
you'd
is
be
what a
pescatarian.
pescatarian is. Then you got a flexitarian. They're
A what?
basically a flexitarian.
The
It's a
hell is
real
this?
thing. It's a real thing. A flexitarian is somebody that eats meat and stuff, but sometimes they might eat pescatarian or they might eat vegan sometimes. It means that, they're flexible with it. So, yeah.
A flexitarian.
That's what they call them. Flexitarian. You got some people that eat healthy, but it's like they might eat chicken or salmon sometimes, but then sometimes they eat vegan, so they call them flexitarians.
Like my older sister, she doesn't eat any red meat. She hasn't eaten red meat for a long time.
Yeah.
And at first I used to look at her like, well, before I became Muslim, I look at her like, yo, girl, you don't eat this damn pork and quit playing. And she'd be
Mm-hmm.
like, nah, like, and when my mom wasn't home, like she would cook the shit for us, like she would cook steak for us,
Mm-hmm.
but she wouldn't eat it. And I'm like, I don't trust nothing that you cook, but you won't eat.
Yeah.
So if you're not gonna eat it, don't cook that shit for me either.
Does eating
Does
cake.
eating cake
I'm
count
tired
as
of
eating meat?
Tobias. He's so fucking annoying, y'all. I can't stand his
um,
ass.
yeah, I don't know.
He
It's a
said,
damn
"Do
question.
eating cake that does count because that has fucking eggs in it."
I don't think he's talking about cake.
I know what fucking he's talking about. I am not dumb, but I'm gonna give him the legit answer. Irky ass. Tobias is so irky.
That's my brother. Good question though. I mean,
Hmm.
really, good question.
Yeah.
Um, it's humans are animals. I mean, you're not really digesting it, but what you're digesting came from it. So, good question. I don't know.
So, all right, back to the religious topic.
Yeah, back to the topic at hand. Um,
What happens if like in your within your relationship, your partner, say at first y'all going into the religion together, right? Like y'all both
mhm.
like, okay, maybe y'all like not going to church as heavy, but then say one starts to take their religion more serious than the other, because some people have like real spiritual awakenings where they might have been sinning a lot, and then all of a sudden they be like they have this urge of wanting to get closer to God, and they revolve their entire life around God, and they change a lot of their ways. But what if your partner isn't there yet? Um, like, do you feel like that will cause conflict within a relationship?
It depends on how strong the partner is. So, let's say the woman, which typically happens, the woman becomes more involved in her spiritual life. A man might be cool, yo, go ahead, go out to the church. But if she's like, nah, because I need you to be walking the same path as me, we need to walk the same path, that can start to tip the relationship. Or every time she comes home and she's talking about, you know, God and her spiritual walk, and he's like, look, I'm tired of hearing this shit, like, shut the hell up with it. Eventually that's going to start to cause the problem as well. So
Yeah.
because usually if somebody is not really into their spiritual walk, um it's usually for a reason. Like they have a problem with church or a problem with the religions. Um and they may make a big deal out of that, like you going in there and that pastor keep feeding your head with this nonsense, and then you come back in here and you want to act different.
Mhm.
That's gonna cause some problems eventually.
Yeah.
um
I
but you
I
can be
just
spiritual without being religious. So
yeah. Um Yeah, but like, okay, even if we're not speaking religious, like, what if the person is like, what, like, okay, you talking about most women, but what if like a man is like all of a sudden he went from praying to not praying, or he even started questioning God, where he like, I don't believe in God no more after the fact, you know?
That's gonna cause a problem.
Yeah.
That's
I
definitely gonna
don't
cause a
I
problem.
me for me personally, I'm speaking for myself. I just don't believe that I could be with a man that is not a God fearing man. I don't feel like I could be with a man that's not leading me through God, who doesn't look at God like the first person in his life. Um because I would be scared. Like, what type of path would you be leading me down? You know what I'm saying? A life of sin. Like, I don't know. I know that no, I'm not perfect at all. None of us is perfect. But I just feel like the ultimate goal is to, go with God, So I'm gonna try my hardest, but I also don't want someone leading me astray.
Like, I had a situation. I always got a damn story for this damn show. So I was the person who introduced me to Christianity. Like,
Mhm.
really sat down and explained Christianity to me. Which I was really thankful for, because a lot of the misconceptions that I had about Christianity, I was like, oh wow, like, okay, now I kind of understand a little bit better. But then, so she was on some, we can't move in together until we get married or whatever, blah blah blah. And I was like, cool, I like my space anyway. I'm fresh with that. But so she was in the church, dedicated to the church, on the choir, all that shit. But yet we used to have threesomes and shit together. And I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a damn minute. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, and it's not like I convinced her to have threesomes. Like, she was already having sex with her friend.
Mhm.
I just got included in on the shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so wait a fucking minute. Like, is this what Christianity's all about? Is it all about just being good in public, but when you close the
Mhm.
door, do what the fuck you want? Not
Yeah.
that I have a problem with threesomes. I don't know if God has a problem with threesomes personally. That's just my belief, because
Mhm.
God said two men shouldn't be together. He ain't say nothing about two women. He never said it.
Shut the hell
It's
up.
not in the Bible. It's nowhere in the Bible. I promise you. Look through the whole damn Bible. It says nothing about two women being together. It just says men. Um, and I had somebody argue with me about that too. About, oh no, they're speaking of man in a general sense. No, because then he's saying no humans should sleep together, and bestiality is a sin. So
Mhm.
he said man. He meant men.
Yeah. Um. See, well, that's why I feel like I need a God fearing man, because just like you saying with her, like, she was up for the threesomes, and it's like, no,
Truth. True.
y'all are irky. Um, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like when I'm quick to get angry and vice versa, I need a man that's gonna lead me back on track. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, not like I don't know. Like, I just feel like you need a person who has the same religious beliefs as you, or the same spiritual beliefs as you. Um, because it's like, it balances you out.
And you're right. That's what a man is supposed to do. He is supposed to lead you back on the right path. But if he's not walking the right path, how can he lead you
Right,
back to it?
right.
So I agree with
That's
that.
that's my my whole point on that. But yeah, I don't know.
Like,
It
I may not be as church going. I used to be heavy church going, like 3 times a week, heavy church going. I'm not there anymore,
mm,
and that's just for my own reasons. However, I still know what's right and wrong.
mm,
Um, I still know that there's certain things that we should and should not do. And I still look to God for leadership. Even though I'm not going to church all the time, I still look to God for leadership. So when I'm getting ready to make a decision, I do try to go ahead and put it to God.
yeah.
Um, I just feel like some of the things that's going on with the church is just like, come on, like,
That's how I mean, honestly, I grew up going to church. I got baptized. I don't know, I was probably like 9 or 10 when I got baptized. But I grew up going to church heavy. And I don't necessarily feel like you have to go to church to have a relationship with God, you know. I don't feel like you have to listen to a preacher to understand the Bible. You know, I feel like you read it for yourself. And you interpret it how you know choose to. But I don't think, not going to church makes you any less than, when it comes to anybody
Right.
else. I don't, because just like you said, like, it's a lot of false prophets, it's a lot of preachers out here and priests, and they raping young boys and girls, and or stealing people's money and all types of things. And at the end of the day, they're man. They're not God, they're
Yeah.
not Jesus Christ. So it's like they're going to sin, they're not perfect. A lot of the times they be sitting here preaching all this stuff and going home and doing everything they don't want you to do. you know so yeah, and sometimes, like, even in church, like, I remember, I'm not gonna say it was the last time I went to church, but I remember one time I went to church on Resurrection Sunday. It was a guest pastor to the church I went to. And I got a whole bunch of tattoos. And the guest pastor, that was it was like, I felt like he was trying to attack me. Because
Oh
he
wow.
he said, literally, and the church is a very small church, so it wasn't a lot of people, and we went to sunrise service. So it was really, really early in the morning. Wasn't a lot of people. So it was easy to know that he was like, um, directing it to me. But, he said something about you marking your bodies and stuff like that. And I felt like, all right, but I'm here though on Resurrection Sunday on at sunrise service. A lot of people don't go to sunrise service. Like, this is before the sun come up, you know. So I felt like he was judging me, where it's like, all right, yeah, I have these tattoos. I did this ignorantly. It's a lot of tattoos I could say I got and was ignorant, and not known the meaning of them, but end of the day, I don't care what no pastor, nobody think. I know God knows my heart. Um, like I said, I'm not perfect. I feel like I steered away from God growing up, like as I got older in adulthood. But I feel like I made my way back, and I feel like my relationship with God is personal, it has nothing to do with nobody else.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not gonna be fake for anyone.
Yeah.
Um, and when I am being fake, just to kind of please someone else, pastor or anyone else, I feel like I'm losing pieces of who I actually am.
Mhm.
If it's just who I am, take me or leave me. If
Yeah.
God's gonna judge me at the end, He'll judge me at the end. But take me for who I am. I remember my ex. She invited the pastor to have dinner with us at our house at the time,
Mhm.
and I drink, and I'm like, I'm in my motherfucking house. So if I want to have me a drink, I'm not offering it to him.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get him to drink. But as long as I'm not getting drunk, I'm not sinning. And she was like, "No, you need to put the liquor in the cabinet." I'm like, "You see, you being fake. Like, you being fake. I drink."
Hypocrites.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. And I'm not about to front about the fact that I drink.
Mhm.
And I poured myself a damn drink. Fuck that shit. Like I poured it,
Mhm.
and he looked at me like he looked at me out the side of his eye. But you know who didn't? His wife. She was
Mhm.
like, "Fuck that. We in his home."
Mhm.
So I'm not about to be fake for anyone. Like, and
Yeah.
that's what I think sometimes you get when you're trying to please church folk. You become less of your real self.
Yeah.
Question though.
Mhm.
So how do you feel about interracial dating? So two people, two different races, grew up differently. How do you
Well,
feel about that?
oh Lord, this is a hard. This is hard because my mom is technically from an interracial relationship, so it's not directly
Okay.
from me, but my mom is technically mixed, even though she considered herself a black woman. Um, It's not really for me, even though it sounds
Okay.
ignorant because my grandmother, you know, she was German, she was technically white, and I love her to death. So it's like when it comes to her, even over there in Germany, you know, she grew up around the time of Hitler and everything like that. She didn't agree with, you know, white supremacy or nothing like that. Um, she ended up marrying a black man. My grandfather was in the army, you know, they had 5 children together. So when it comes to her, you know, I feel like she rocked with us. The rest of her family I can't speak on. I never met no one else in her family, you know. Um, but personally for myself, even though it's like my grandmother was technically white, I don't really agree with it. That's my personal opinion. I'm not saying that that's for me. Now, people can choose to date whatever they want. Like if you want to date a woman, a man, a thing, a it, that's on you. But for me, I've never seen myself dating outside of my race. I just feel like, and I think it's because stuff that I've witnessed, not within my family, because like I said, the only person was like my grandmother, but stuff I've seen like other Caucasian people around me, I've seen them sit there and be cool with us. And then when stuff really go down, y'all really not for us, you know? And I
Yeah.
feel like, um, I, and I'm not saying every Caucasian person is wearing a mask, you know, because you got some that is like, you know, that's who they are. But I've seen too many that wore masks and act like been in relationships with black people, but then whole time when real life issues happen, you don't even fuck with us, you know. And
Yeah.
that's something that I'm like, I'm not willing to take that risk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because it's like I said, my grandmother, she's German, she passed away, but everybody else in my family, my all my grandfathers, my nephew, my brother, my both of my nephews, you know, those is all black men, you know. And I just feel like if you sit here and feel like, you know, black people don't get discriminated on when it comes to the police and all types of stuff like that, like, I'm not about to sit here and try to convince you, you know. Like, I don't know. I just seen different sides of Caucasian people. I've literally seen videos of Caucasian people be in relationships with black people, but when they out in public, they calling somebody the N word. Like, you know what I'm
Mm-mm.
saying? I've seen videos of that. And I think that's why I feel that way. I don't know. I've always felt that way. It's even before I seen stuff like that. It's just in my nature, in my spirit. And this is ever since I was young. Like, I'm talking about from the age of like kindergarten or first grade. I always told my siblings, like, I don't see myself dating outside my race. You know, um, two of my siblings have. My brother does right now. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Nah. My sister has, she just told me something about that too. Like, what about political views? Working
Ooh.
in a relationship?
Yeah, I
I
can't.
don't
I,
know
I
about
can't. I
that.
can't mess with that either. You know what? I would date outside my race first. Fuck that. before before I date a damn Republican, I'll date a white girl. It won't happen.
Right. I
No,
don't
hell
know.
no.
Like, I don't know. That's just, it's never been my thing. I think I just love black men way too much. Despite like what I've been through, and I know like both black men and black women have a lot to work on. Yeah, put that shit away. I don't know. One thing I'll never do
Angie
is
like
give up on
somebody
black
mama
men.
boy.
One thing I'll never do is give up on black men. I love black men. I feel like as a black woman, yeah, I could go out here and go get a white man that could take care of me and live an extravagant life. But I feel like
Probably can. You can
I
probably do
know I
that.
could. But I don't know. I want a black man. Like, I feel like I owe that loyalty to black men. I don't know. That's just how I feel. I love black men.
So I've only dated, like actually dated, You're very welcome, Angie. I only dated um
We working
one
on Dawn one day at a time, y'all.
one day at a time. Next thing y'all know, I'll be vegan. Y'all done made me.
He gonna have the nicotine patches on his fucking arm the next time.
So I dated in my entire life. I've only dated, like, been in a relationship with one white girl.
Okay.
But she grew up in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like she was
Mm,
one of them hood like white girls. So like she grew up next door to me. So we grew up the same way. It wasn't like, I didn't really see her as a white girl, even though she
okay.
was. But as I've been with white women. I've been with women of different races. But as far as somebody I'm dating, no, it's got
And
to be a
why
sister.
not?
Just
Because,
because
and I'm
I'm
asking you this because of the fact that you've actually dated outside your race and even had relations with some of them outside the race. So, what's the reason why you wouldn't be in a relationship with them?
because I'm not gonna give up any of myself to be with them. I'm not going to curtail who I am to
Mm-hmm.
make them happy. I had a good friend of mine married a white woman, and when they got married, she moved into his house. He used to have like a lot of like Malcolm X stuff on his walls, and she made him take him down.
Mm.
And I'm like, hell no.
Yeah.
You know what? The same door you walked in to move in, walk through that same door to move the hell out. Because I'm not
Right.
gonna change who I am. Like I believe in my black heritage. I believe in black history, and I'm not gonna act like it never happened just to make you comfortable in my home.
Right.
So as far as like I've relations wise, fuck that. That's different. We ain't
Mm-hmm.
making no commitments to each other. We having relations. But as far as being in a relationship, somebody who I might procreate with, oh hell no,
Right.
nah.
Even
Because
if
my child's gonna grow up knowing their black heritage, their blackness.
even even during the pandemic, it was a girl I went to school with. She was Caucasian. She has mixed children. And she was one of the main ones saying here, like, black people don't get treated no different by the police than white people do.
Oh, that's some bullshit.
And I'm like, she got mixed kids. I had to unfollow her. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, yo, that's the shit. That's the shit right there that I just be like, what? Like, that's one thing we're not gonna sit here and act like in history, time and time again, there weren't innocent black people getting fucking beat, shot, killed by the police. And you gonna sit here and tell me you seen shit like that with white people? No. This has been a repeat of history. So I feel like, and that was what I guess the George it was either the George Floyd or the Ahmaud Arbery situation, where she like white people get treated just like black people when it comes. No, no, y'all don't.
No, no,
And the
no, they
fact that you
don't.
got
Hell
mixed
no.
kids and you in denial about that, or you're ignorant to not even sit here and you know call a spade was crazy to me.
Yeah,
Um,
hell no. Hell no. People who try to act as if what's going on doesn't exist, to me is a bigger enemy than somebody who actually calls me a nigga. I
yeah,
would rather somebody be open and honest. If you don't like me, I don't like you. That's fine.
right.
But for somebody to sit there, and you got some black people who was fortunate enough, I guess, to grow up in the white schools and the white neighborhood, and they're
Mm-hmm.
sitting there and they're like, no, everybody has an opportunity to pull themselves up. No, they don't. They
Yeah,
don't. Like that's just not the way it works. Um, I don't play that. You're not gonna act as if the things that are going on every single day and have been going on for over 400 years don't go
right.
on. A girl that I used to back in the day have relations with or whatever went to her house and she was watching. She was like, "Oh, we gonna watch a movie or whatever," and I was like, "I'm not sure why. That's relationship shit. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
coming over for a relationship." But and she wanted to watch fucking of all movie Rosewood, which
Mm.
is I don't know if you know the movie Rosewood
I
where
know, I don't think I've ever seen it.
it's a movie where a lady, was cheating on her husband, and when he came home, I guess the she still had the sex on her. So instead of her telling the truth that she was cheating, she lied and said that a black man raped her.
Okay.
And they ended up killing a lot of black people in this town. It's a true story in Rosewood, Florida.
Okay.
And when I walked in and she's watching that shit and she was like, "Oh, we gotta watch a movie," I said, "You really want to watch this movie with me? I promise you, it's not gonna end well. Fuck the
Do you
movie.
feel triggered? Do you feel triggered watching like slavery movies and stuff like that?
I sometimes I do. Sometimes I do, especially because I don't feel like I could allow that shit to happen these days.
Hmm.
Now, don't get me wrong. We're only a footnote in the Constitution from being back on the damn the slave fucking fields and shit. Our rights
Who
are
gonna
really
be out
written
there?
in.
Cause I ain't.
It won't be me.
Shit, they gonna
Fuck
have to
that. My
kill me
back
first.
hurting. Nah, I can't do it. But like, we are really just we are written into the Constitution. That shit can be erased, and I promise you, they wrote that shit in pencil. That
Mm-hmm.
shit is not permanent.
Yeah.
But you have black politicians, you have black men out there who feel like, oh, I was fortunate growing up, so anybody can be fortunate growing up. Nah, that's not the way that shit works.
No.
Because they intentionally do things in the hood to keep their foot on people's back.
Mm-hmm.
And the bad thing is what they taught us was they taught us how to stay down without them holding us down now. So we hold ourselves down. Um, like I was telling my wife about the meaning of the projects or what they call public housing.
Mm-hmm.
It was really a project. Like if you take away if you tell somebody if you work you got to pay more rent, will it keep them from going out and getting a
Right.
better job and achieving more? And it
Right.
does. It
Mm-hmm.
does. Like the project really worked for them because
Mm-hmm.
you got people who are on Section 8 and they're like, I ain't getting no job. My rent gonna go up. Yeah, but you're
Mm-hmm.
making more money. What the
Right.
fuck? Like, why get welfare when you can actually go out and make a paycheck? Like in New York at one point, and I don't know if it's still this way, if you were on welfare, you actually had to start working for your check. And there were people who would go out and work a job just to get their welfare check. And I'm like, stupid, just go get a job. Like,
Right.
get a job with benefits, a regular check. This way you're not under the fucking thumb of society and
Right.
somebody telling you on the 1st and 15th that you're going to get money. Go out and work.
Right.
But there's people who are so programmed
Right.
that they think that they're getting ahead by not having a job, but you're not. Now, the generations between, I guess, I don't know, probably 1980 or let's call it 90 on up. Oh, they getting the fuck over. They know how to get over on that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Them motherfuckers will pull a welfare check and have a damn whole fucking full salon some damn where. Get your money, boo. Do what the hell you supposed to do. What you got to
Mm-hmm.
do. Fuck the system if you have to.
Yeah.
But if you're sitting there going, well, my man sell drugs, so all I got to do is stay on welfare and stay on Section 8, and he can take care of all the bills. Yeah, but what about you
Right.
getting ahead? When he gets locked up, where are you at?
Or even your children. I feel like the true way to get ahead is create generational wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Do what white people be doing. Pass some shit down. Teach them, knowledge on credit and things like that, and investing. Um, I feel like the system is meant to keep us stuck, but that doesn't I wouldn't tell someone to use it if they need to. Like one thing I'm heavy on is like daycare vouchers. Like I feel like if a
Yeah.
woman, daycare is ridiculous, and I feel like some people don't even get paid that much to be like paying daycare. You feel me? Because for all of that, you're literally taking your whole check paying daycare just to watch your kid. You could literally just stay home. But it's kind of like, making them stuck. So that's why I do believe, if someone doesn't make a lot, they should get some type of assistance with the voucher so that someone can watch their child and they could go out and keep potentially making
Mm-hmm.
more money, keep working a job so they're able to get raises, and climb up that ladder so that one day, even one day, the kid not gonna be in daycare forever because eventually they start school, But that's the one thing, I do feel like, some people do need, but just to work the system and not ever, feel like, all right, I don't
Time to
know.
get off that shit. You know.
Yeah. But
Yeah, it's
I've never really gotten triggered by like watching slave movies now. When I was young though, when I was a young kid, I did used to watch slavery movies. And I'm talking about the real ones where you would see them hanging them and stuff.
mm-hmm.
That shit, I feel like that shit really traumatized the fuck out of me as a child. To see, because I feel like what they show now in slave movies ain't shit compared to how they used to make them. You
Hell yeah.
know,
That shit used to.
um,
They used to just show you the real back in the
yo,
days.
to see somebody get hung, that's different. I feel like now they just kind of like sugarcoat it a little bit. It's not, they don't really show the extent of how bad slavery really was, in the slave movies they make now. I see that, but I feel like people get triggered by different things. That's like some people don't want to watch movies based on children getting hurt in some type of way,
Yeah.
even if it's fictional, um but yeah, I don't get triggered about that. Angie said she get triggered by Karen videos. Yeah, I experienced a Karen recently. I was ready to go to jail, y'all.
Yeah, see that I can't. I'm not that guy. Like I be watching some of the videos and people be, I'm just gonna videotape you, and you're such a Karen. Now I'm gonna slap the shit out of you. Fuck that video.
Yeah, I was ready to go to jail
I'm gonna take the
recently. Like,
charge. I gotta take the charge.
I don't know if it. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna say it's the election. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I definitely had a Karen. She tried to threaten me. Um, she gonna ask me, "Do you know who neighborhood you in?" I said, "Bitch, show me." I said, "Get out the fucking car and show me." Like, I'm like, no, I'm like, they be a little too fucking bold, But she met her motherfucking match because yeah, you had the right one. Because like sometimes you watch them videos, you get so annoyed, like, yo, they be having the
Yeah.
the the wrong the right. I guess you would say the right ones because they be the ones that don't do shit or don't, Angie said, tell the story, Bridget. I was ready to go to jail because it's like I'll make it short. And this is like Lansdowne area. All right, I'm pulling up to my sister's house, and I'm like double parked off a main road. The lady drive by and honks at me. Right, I guess because I'm double parked, but
mm.
I don't have my hazards on. I just got my foot on the brake. I'm just like, I don't have my car parked. I just got my foot on the brake. So she honks as she driving by. So I honk at her back. Right. So she puts her truck in reverse. So I'm
Oh,
like, "What's up,
she
bitch?"
want to smoke.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like she gonna try to back up on me, like try to intimidate me. So I'm like, "What's up, bitch?" So she like, "Oh, what a way to cuss in front of children." I'm like, "Bitch, I don't give a fuck." I'm like, "Don't fucking honk at me." Like, and then you try to back up, like. So then that's when she was like, "Do you know whose fucking neighborhood you're in?" I'm like, "Bitch, get out the car and show me." I'm like, "Get out the car right now so I can beat you the fuck up." Like, and her mother was in the passenger side. Her mother like, "Just go, just go." I'm like, "Bitch, get out of the car so I can beat you the fuck up." Cause she's still just sitting there. Um, so then I was like triggered. Like, you know what I'm saying? I be triggered because it's like I've experienced, that's why, like, believe it or not, I have experienced a lot of racism in my life. A lot of people would not think this. People be thinking because you light skin, like you do not experience racism. I'm telling you, I probably experienced more racism than a darker skinned person, and that's no bullshit. Um, but yeah, the bitch tried to play with me. So anyway, yeah, I was trying to go to jail. I follow her ass home because,
Oh
bitch,
shit! God dang.
I need to know where you lay your head at. You know what I'm saying? So.
You fucking stalking people and shit.
Nah, I'm
You need to
not
calm
stalking, but
down.
it's like I was out front of my sister's house, and I'm just like, where my people's live at. I need to know where the fuck you sleep at, where your kids lay they fucking head at. Like. When I found her ass home, she seen it. And I had to let it go, but I'm like, she was very bold because it's like, in Maryland, people had their gun license and stuff. People have their license to carry, so it's just like you pulling up on somebody with your kids in the car.
Yeah.
Don't know who the fuck in here, what I got, But yeah, the racism be real, real loud and real bold, But yeah, I don't know. She had the right one.
Yo, I encourage everyone, and I've been doing this well, probably most of my life, but definitely spent since 2020. If you are a black person and you don't have a felony, I definitely say you need to arm yourself
Mm-hmm.
because the other side is arming themselves,
Right. That's what I
and they
be
got
telling
big guns.
people.
They got big
Yeah,
guns.
exactly.
So, not that I don't. It's not to encourage violence, but I do encourage everybody to be able to protect your home and
Right.
protect yourself, protect your kids, because you don't know what that lady had in her car either. She don't know what you had, but you didn't know what she had.
Right.
Um, and as opposed to giving everybody a reason to march, I'd rather you still be on the earth. So, because
Yeah.
we love to march, we love a good march, but we ain't changing shit. We don't go out and try to change not a
Mm,
damn thing. White
no.
people lose one of their kids, they go create a foundation for their
Right.
child. They go to Capitol Hill and fight for new laws. You know what we do? We say more justice, no peace. And then a week later, we like fuck that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. That's like me.
we,
I never been big on the protesting. Like when all that George, like I'm signing petitions. I'm donating, to the
mm-hmm.
grassroots. Like I'm not out there standing on the forefront. And I remember all that shit was happening. My mom was like, Bridget, you need to be out there. I'm like, I'm not getting killed for nobody. I'm like, they be fucking killing innocent protesters and shit. I'm not doing that shit.
Yep,
I'll
and
do
make
my
your ass
part
disappear.
other ways.
And I got a problem with the police officers in the George Floyd situation. But I got just as much problem with the people who sat around and just videotaped as opposed to fuck that. I guarantee there was more people out there than the cops.
Right.
They can't shoot y'all all. Y'all better. Some of
Right.
y'all might have to take one for the team. Fuck that shit.
Right.
They are sitting here choking somebody to death. Stop the shit. Don't sit there and just record it. It's great for evidence purposes,
Yeah.
but he's dead.
Right. Yeah.
So
It's getting real crazy out here. Everybody need to go vote. You know what I'm
yes,
saying?
absolutely. Because Project 2025 is real.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
real.
Yeah. And
And the shit that they're trying to do, you could be fucking deported to Mexico and you ain't never been a bit of Mexican a day in your
mm,
life.
I
But let
know.
you walk out the house without ID. They could send your ass without due process and send
Yeah.
your ass right to Mexico.
Yeah.
They'd send my ass to motherfucking Haiti or some shit. No,
Why you say
nah.
Mexico? I ain't going to no fucking Mexico. They better send me to
Cause you
Nigeria
light skin.
with
Don't
my
say you got that
motherfucking
light skin. You got that light skin. Don't say.
I don't care. I'm like, bitch, send me to Africa.
They're gonna be like, nope, wrong plane. You going to Mexico?
Shit, they better not. I'll be petrified for my life.
Like I don't speak none of this damn language. All I know is tequila. That's
Mm-mm.
it.
Don't send me to no Mexico. I'll be scared.
Nah, I'm telling you, like Project 2025 is real. They had a reporter who took the book, the whole 900-page manual. First of all, the reason that they made this shit 900 pages, they know niggas ain't gonna read 900 pages of shit. Not
Mm-hmm.
a shit, nothing. They're not gonna read 900 pages of the Bible, let
Right.
alone a damn Project 2025. So they took it. She took it to like barbershops and had black men reading it, and these motherfuckers was astonished of the shit that was in it. It was like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Like they can literally, because first of all, Trump said he's going to give all police officers immunity from being prosecuted.
Right.
But any police officer can deputize a regular citizen into being a police officer. So that means they can deputize all their friends and they'll never get prosecuted.
Yeah, that's wild.
Crazy shit. Wild shit. We got how many more days? Well, we got 6 days to the election. It's time to vote. And all the
Y'all
people
go
that sitting
vote
there
and get
playing
strapped
and
up.
joking around, oh, you gonna vote for
We might
Trump?
have to go to war.
the war might get started. The war might get started. I'm looking for some soldiers, so y'all need to either vote or gun up. Those are your two choices.
Yeah.
Um,
I think
but
it's crazy what's going on.
it
And
is,
you know,
and
my grandfather, he's 91 years old. So he lived through a lot. He like, this
mm-hmm,
country really went backwards. And to me, that speaks volumes.
yeah, and look how far backwards we're stepping.
Mm-hmm.
Like they want to literally they want to take everything backwards, taking away women's rights to their own
Mm-hmm.
body.
Yeah.
I don't have a view one way or the other on abortion. It's a woman's choice. Like do what's going to work best for you, but it's your choice.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's just your choice. Like it's not my choice. I don't care if I lay down with you. It's not my choice because I don't have to lay there and deal with the ramifications of an abortion. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to make that choice on your own. Yeah, we can talk about it, but at the end of the day, it's a woman's choice. And it's not just, I know we started to run over time, so we're going to start wrapping up, but it's not just abortion that they're trying to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to get rid of IUI and IVF because they don't want two women to have a child together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they're wanting to get rid of contraception because what's happening is more white women are using birth control than in the past. So if a white woman is using birth control, she can't further their race. So now they
Right.
want to wipe away birth control. Like it's when they Roe v. Wade was just the beginning. Everything that's coming after that is them just basically stacking the deck now.
Mm-hmm.
Roe v. Wade was just a way for them to stop abortion, but now when they create bills, they're going to create bills, and what's going to be attached to those bills is no IUI, no IVF, no birth control. So not only are you telling somebody that they can't have an abortion, but they can't even prevent themselves from getting pregnant.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and I think our next show is it after election day?
Elections
I
is
think so.
Tuesday, right?
Tuesday. Yep. So yeah, our
Yeah.
next show is after. So I'm looking for everybody to jump on the show because we'll know who the hell is the winner by that point, or at least have some general idea who the winner is. So everybody need to come on, join on the show. We're gonna talk about either we all gonna be happy or we gonna be pissed the fuck off. But we're gonna
Right.
do it together next Wednesday. Um, so we're gonna wrap up. We appreciate everybody hanging out. We had some people who stayed the whole show. Marvin even hung out for a while tonight. So good looking out, Marv. Ange always on board. Ray P always on board. Appreciate you, Nikel. You know you rock with us all the time, so we appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all next Wednesday. Hopefully, next Wednesday we're gonna have the first woman president. That's what I'm hoping for.
Right.
So let's push for that. But until then, it's all love. Y'all all get some rest. And Bridget, I'm sure you need rest. So go chill.
I did.
Ange, love you always, lady. Later, folks. Be easy.
This damn fly.